Some of the effects I would say before, like how it could break relationships or cause relationships to get damaged and whatnot.
So some of the effects for me that when I have stress is I eat. It's probably a lot for everyone where you just start eating a lot more when you start having stress because that's kind of a good way to get away from it. Another way, you just become really tired and you just don't want to deal with it, so maybe you want to take a nap, and that is just something. It's just a way of a solution.
Some effects of stress, I can think of like, because of all the anxiety and stuff, you just it affects like your mental health and physical health, and then from there, even if it becomes so severe, I know it can lead into depression sometimes.
How much stress would you say you deal with on a daily basis?
Stress. I probably see do a lot of stress over the daily basis. I mean, I got a practical on Friday. I don't know how to study for this.
So how often I deal with stress? I got a speech tomorrow, and I got this practical. I got a few tests. I don't know. I think I'm eating that. Fine with that.
How often do I deal with stress on a daily basis? I mean, like, the same as anyone else, really, Like, I just have regular classes. Like, I have a biopractical and I have a sports phys test Monday, but I just kind of go with it. Go with the flow.
So we were kind of debating whether to show you guys this video first or last, but we decided, all right, let's show them to this now because these are the topics that we're going to be presenting to you today. So now we're going to discover, okay, were they actually accurate with their information? All right. So today Dylan and I will be talking about the causes of stress, the effects that stress can have on your body, the mood, and your behavior, and ways of preventing stress from happening. So our goal for today is to give everyone in this classroom a better understanding of what stress actually is, how impactful stress can truly be, and why it is so important that you deal with stress properly so when you start to become overwhelmed, anxious, or tense. Can you keep up? Think about the amount of stress you deal with on a daily basis. According to the 2015 National College Health Assessment, 85% of students felt greatly overwhelmed with the responsibilities that they had to fulfill, while 30% resulted in poor academic performance within the past year. The reason for this, typically, is because people don't take the time to relax throughout the day.
Right. And as college students, I'm sure we have all had our fair share of stressful situations. And they can come from many different ways, some of them being maybe cramming for a test, problems with your friends, or even planning for your future. And for me, I have a guaranteed seat into grad school here, so that has forced me to keep up with the demanding course load of exercise science. And it's pushed me to perform multiple all-nighters and put hours of hours into studying for tests that I haven't even done that well in. And that obviously gives your fair share of stress.
And from my point of view as a freshman, adapting to all the new college experiences has been a struggle for me. I think at the beginning of my college career, I even debated switching majors due to the coursework and the amount of hours I needed to put in for studying. Now, that being said, stress is an unavoidable part of everyday life. You're probably going to experience it no matter what throughout the day. However, excessive stress can cause damage to your body, mood, and behavior, as I mentioned before. We will now give a brief overview of what stress actually is. So what is stress? We've all experienced it before. We all know what it feels like, but what actually is it? In order to understand the harmful effects that stress can have and how relaxing can help, we all need to be educated on the topic first. So stress is a state of mental or emotional tension or stress that's resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. In simpler terms, stress is just feeling overly anxious about a particular event. So child stress. As a child, you don't encounter much stress. According to the American Psychological Association, only 25% of children feel overwhelmed on a daily basis. Now, as a child grows and develops into a teenager or young adult, they start to become more overwhelmed due to the responsibilities that they now have to fulfill, such as paying bills, managing schoolwork, and maintaining relationships. Which brings me to my next point, teenager stress. So, as teenagers or young adults, specifically college students, tend to experience the most stress. On average, teens reported their stress levels to be 5.1 on the 10.0 scale compared to 4.9 on the 10.0 scale with adults within the past year. To tie all this back together, stress levels increased 18% for women and 24% for men from 1983 to 2009, as you can see, we have the chart over here. We live in a world today where everything has to get done instantaneously. There's no time to relax, which puts much more pressure on every single person. If we don't take the time to relax, we're just going to exacerbate the problem and make everything much worse.
And now that you know what stress is, we'll move on to some of the causes that I said earlier. So, cramming for a test. To put you in a scenario, we'll say you have a chemistry test tomorrow, and you haven't started studying at all for it. So instantly you're going to regret your tendency to procrastinate and leave all your work for the last minute, and you're going to start freaking out. And when you do freak out, you're going to overanalyze the situation that you're in, thinking about, like, where am I going to study, and all the other stuff except study. And you're not going to focus on the task that you actually have to do. Problems with your friends. It's just, everybody goes through it, whether it's through college or before college. Everybody's going to have drama with them, and the relationships you have may become tense at times. And that's just going to put an unnecessary strain on you that you're going to have to deal with. And planning for your future. College is the starting point for the rest of your life, as I'm sure all of us know. And as you work your way through your classes, and you get closer and closer to the real world, and you're going to have to start worrying about your financial problems, whether you want to start a family or not, and all those other things. And the more tasks that you have to complete, the more pressure is going to be put on you to complete all of them.
So now that you are all aware of what stress is and the causes that could lead to it, we'll take a closer look on the effects that stress can have on a person. Every person experiences stress in a different way, as we saw in the video actually before. When under stress, each person does not function the way that they normally do though. The first way stress can impact a person is on your body. Some of the common effects that you can have on your body are going to be fatigue, stomach upset, not being able to pay attention, or even just irritability. Next, stress can also impact your mood. Some of the ways that stress can impact your mood is going to be irritability, as I mentioned before, depression, not being able to focus, and many more. The final way stress can impact you is on your behavior. Some of the symptoms that you may experience on your behavior is overeating or undereating, rage outbursts, drug or alcohol abuse, tobacco use, exercising less often, or even social withdrawal.
And all these effects come with consequences and damages. So take, for example, your extracurricular activities. Here at the University of Scranton, 10.1% of the student body participate in varsity athletics. And that doesn't account for the very popular intramural and club teams that I'm sure many of us play on. As Jake mentioned, one of the effects of stress is sleep deprivation. And that sleep deprivation won't only affect your academics, but it can also affect your athletic performance, as you won't have enough energy. Your overall health. As seen in the pie chart, 44% of students in college actually report symptoms of depression, which is an incredibly high number. It's almost half of the student body. And this depression can compromise your immune system, which can make you more susceptible to being sick and becoming ill. And your relationships. When you're placed under stress, you may tend to make impulsive or rash decisions. And your family and your friends who want to help you are going to try to help you. But you may lash out onto them. And if it continuously happens over and over, they might end up, hopefully not, but they might end up just saying, screw it, I'm not going to deal with it anymore. And it's going to damage the relationships that you have.
So as you can all see, stress can have some serious impacts on your social life, your health, and your academic performance. We will now demonstrate ways to prevent that stress or cope with it if it comes. First, we'll talk about preventing stress. So some of the tips to help prevent stress or manage stress is going to be communication, managing your time, and not overcommitting yourself. Try talking to somebody. By talking out your problem to somebody, it's going to help release your anxiety before it gets worse. Knowing that somebody is there for you is going to provide you comfort when you're feeling overstressed. Next is make sure you manage your time wisely. Before you start your day, plan out everything ahead of time. If you have a schedule to follow, your day won't be as spontaneous, which will lead to an increase in productivity. And finally, make sure you do not overcommit yourself. By not overcommitting yourself, if you agree to complete more than you can handle, then your responsibilities will begin to pile up. If your responsibilities begin to pile up, then you will start to become overwhelmed. By not overcommitting yourself, you'll be able to complete every single task that you have to do the best of your ability.
Alright, and as we said before, some stresses are unavoidable, so you're gonna have to be able to cope with them. These are just a few ways of coping, but they're the ones that we chose, and exercising. Exercising is known to release endorphins into your body, and those endorphins help you relieve pain and give you a feeling of pleasure and euphoria, so it makes you happier, which obviously gets rid of stress. Napping. When you nap, you force your body and your brain to take a break from the world and just sleep. And it restores your energy, and it can help you get rid of the unwanted stress and unnecessary. And then doing something you enjoy, whether that be painting, drawing, some type of athletics, anything at all. It'll help you take time away from the things that you don't want to think about and put it on something that you love and that you're passionate about. And obviously that will also help you cope with the stress that you have to deal with.
So, looking back on today. Today, Dylan and I talked about the topic of stress. Our goals were to enhance all of your knowledge on what stress is, the causes of stress, the effects of stress, and ways of preventing stress. After hearing our presentation today, we hope you all take our advice and encourage other students to relax when they're feeling stressed out. Thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed. Anyone have any questions?